Howdy, everybody. God bless you. Thanks for watching us or watching us on replay. It's Prayin'Nsquatchin. I'm here with Wendell Burrows from the Arkansas Boys and Arkansas Bigfoot Cartel. We will be joined sooner or later by Barry Webster of Res Squatch. Tonight we're going to give an update for everybody, what everybody's had going on in the area, any reports or activity. Then we can talk about different subjects of tree structures, glyphs, burial mounds, giant skeletons, red-headed giants, so forth, so on. How it all ties together, try to connect the dots. So, Mr. Burrows, I'll let you start out. You been having anything going on?
We've had a team over in Saline County that did an investigation. Have a lot of activity. I've had reports from up around here in Arkansas. We're gonna check him out sometime this next month. That's about it. I've heard.
Seems like it's kind of slow all over right now. You don't see a whole lot posted in the groups, or
it's been that way. Since about really.
Yeah, it slowed down for a while here, and we've been hearing knocks again here lately, back in the woods, and we got something that screams or squalls around here, and it don't sound exactly like a bobcat. I've got the audio recorder out. Of course, it takes forever to go through them audio recorders. You get 8, 10, 12, 16 hours at a time for every time you put it out there. If you do that 3 or 4 days in a row, next thing you know, you got 50 or 60 hours of audio to sit there and listen to and try to pick out, well, there was something. And I still have trouble figuring out how to clip it and make short clips small enough to post to Facebook or YouTube.
Right. I have same trouble. I went to where I actually play it through the big stick and just record just that few seconds. That off.
So just record it straight to Facebook or something like that, or?
Yep.
I didn't think about that. I guess that would work. There's got to be something I'm doing wrong with the whole Audacity. Everybody told me that program's so simple. I think they forgot who they were talking to, but
I'm in the same boat.
I'm trying to think. Have you seen any real compelling videos or anything here lately? I know there was the one big stink come out, and now everybody's claiming it was a porcupine. But how in the world do you get a Sasquatch and porcupine confused with one another?
Yeah. But no, nothing.
Go ahead.
I've seen a lot of replays of earlier ones from several years ago. But
yeah, seems like they always want to bring back that one where it's throwing a tree, or supposedly throwing a tree.
Yeah.
Which, that one to me, I hate to say it, but no clearer than it is. In a way it's compelling, in a way it ain't, because you really can't tell much about what's doing the throwing.
No, but it looks to be a pretty good sized tree. So.
Yeah. I've watched Thunker do I don't know how many breakdowns on it now. It seems like every time you turn around, it's almost getting to the, well, I wouldn't say getting to the point of the Patterson Gimlin film and everybody going over it with the fine-tooth comb, but it might not be far behind it.
I did a funny side note. A friend of mine from Faithful come down, and I hadn't seen him since he was a teenager. Anyway, he's about 6 foot, but he walked in, and his feet, he wears a size 17 shoe. It was huge. I said, well, I found Bigfoot.
That's right up there with Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant and all the other guys in the NBA right there.
Yeah.
How tall did you say he is?
Like 6'4".
6'4". I guess that still might be a little bit on the big side even for 6'4".
Yeah. So that just kind of goes in with the genetics that still offspring of some or troglodytes instead of an ape milk. Our feet can get pretty some of it.
Yep. Well, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think we've ever seen an ape of a living species, what we know of, anywhere near 8 foot tall. Let alone 9 or 10 foot tall, like Sasquatch get reported.
Yeah.
There has been a handful of humans 8 foot tall and better that we know of.
Yeah.
I know it's been a few years ago in the NBA, they had the one guy from China that was like 8'4" or 8'5" or something like that. The poor guy, I hate to say it, but he was actually too tall. He couldn't really play American-style basketball because he was too gangly, I guess would be. Because I don't think he weighed anywhere near what a guy his size should weigh. I can't remember his name. I just remember he was the big thing when he come out because he was so tall.
Yao Ming, what?
Something like that.
I think so.
I think he was 8'5", 8'6", something like that. Of course, everybody said, well, no, I'm not going to say everybody, but most people that are into this stuff have seen the old picture of the guy from the 1800s. It was like 8'11". They got his family standing in the portrait with him, and everybody else's average height, and this guy's literally twice as tall as some of them. You've probably seen it, haven't you?
Yeah. They get you into your giant, the red hair giant.
Yeah. I did see one article on Facebook about them, a cave in New Mexico. In the 1890s, I think they found a skeleton that was 8'11". So that's right on the verge of 9 feet right there.
Mm-hmm.
There was no tribe or species roaming North America in 1890 or before that averaged 8 foot plus, close to 9 foot. I mean, your Native Americans, your Spanish, Central America, nobody come on average anywhere close to that.
No.
And I was talking to Hal Lane. I was hoping maybe he'd be on here tonight, but he never answered me. He was talking about a cave somewhere in Georgia or Tennessee. They found remains that were Arabic and, well, not remains, but like relics and stuff. And he's got a theory that Joseph chased the descendants of the Nephilim and the troglodytes clear out of the Middle East into North America. And I saw the other article I was talking about showed that they believe the Native Americans, the indigenous first tribe peoples, their ancestors may have come from Siberia, which you think about it, the Middle East, up through China, across through Russia, across the land bridge that even scientists claim was there a couple thousand years ago between Russia and North America. Well, I mean, if they're saying that Native American descendants come across it, that just makes me ask, well, did the Sasquatch come across before or after? Or at the same time? Were they already here waiting on them like they were the Vikings when they discovered North America, or did they cross with them? I mean, because that would make a perfect migratory, or whatever you want to call it, path out of the Middle East, up through China, around through Siberia, across the land bridge.
Yep. Yep. And all the what was left of the giant race was run out Middle East. Where'd they go? So
yeah, they had to go somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Now, the only part that kind of throws a monkey wrench or whatever you want to call into it, none of those tribes of people are genetically inclined towards red hair either. So where did your red-haired giants come from?
Yeah, that's back to Esau come out of the word.
Yeah.
Red hair.
Yeah. Because I was just thinking, that's the only problem I really had with that article. If you look at people now from Siberia and you look at Native Americans, they don't really look a whole lot alike. Your Russian, Siberia area, and Native Americans, I mean, you would think if their ancestors come from there, they would look more alike, I would think. But
You'd think.
Yeah.
It may have been just to try to throw a distance with it, or live in the same area and moved out.
Well, I think even now, like the closest distance across the North Pole from Alaska to Siberia is only, what, a couple 100 miles?
I thought it was closer than that.
It may be closer than that.
70 miles. I would say.
Oh, I was thinking it was further than that. But it
It's
may only
only
be
like-
70
only like-
miles.
Yeah, it's only like 4 feet all the way across there.
That's I can't know something straight, and I can't think of the name of it right now. Bering Strait, yeah. So, I mean, if it's only 4 to 6 feet deep now, you can imagine back when this land bridge, it wouldn't have to be that big or high of a bridge to get over. Of course, maybe the water was deeper back then, who knows, but.
Yeah, you know.
And that's just like we don't know. It's just like when we start with the mound builders, these huge mounds you find in North America, and then you got temples in South America and Central America, pyramids in Egypt, and nobody knows how they built any of them. Well, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what civilization, what technology or techniques they had back then, before or after the flood, that we've since lost. And that got me thinking, even well, go ahead.
As far as the pyramids go, if they were built, they were built by the Jewish people as slaves of Egypt.
Yeah.
But even that is almost impossible that could build all that without any technology.
Well, I always said motivation might have been a powerful factor because you got the pharaohs in Egypt. And I say the speech went something like this when they went to the slaves, hey, we're going to build a pyramid. And you got two choices. You can either pitch in and work on this pyramid until it's finished and live, or we can wipe your entire family off the face of the planet tomorrow.
Yep.
I got a feeling that's something along the lines of how that pep talk went.
Yeah, that went. Yeah.
So everybody was like, hey, let's go build a pyramid. Like I said, you got a guy standing over you with a whip and other guys sitting around your house waiting on the word. That's pretty powerful motivation right there.
Yeah.
But
Hot done.
yeah, the whole.
It's just amazing. They show that you can't get credit card between them. And you know, even there, dry, and you can. If you're hearing that stone, it's going to vary. So,
Should.
but these are precise all the way from God to get the credit card in. That makes you kind of go.
Makes you wonder. I mean,
Yeah.
if you read up on it or study into it at all, it's just things don't add up. From like what the official history, what they tell us in high school, you read in geography and history classes, then you get looking at the actual facts, things just don't add up.
Yeah.
And from what I've read, some of the Aztec temples and stuff are actually more impressive than the Egyptian pyramids.
Yeah. And what they line up with and the actual street of God down there lines up with a certain constellation with like more than less than like 2 feet.
And it's not just your pyramids and temples and stuff like that. You've got the pictographs and stuff like that can only be seen from the air, supposedly drawn by a civilization that had no concept of flight.
Right.
There's Mr. Webster.
And they come up with the excuse that it was for the God to say.
Hello, Mr. Webster. God bless you.
Hey.
Got it.
We were just chatting a little bit, waiting for the gang to all get here. God bless you. Appreciate you joining us.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Well, the first thing we did, we both did a little bit of an update about our area and what's going on. And neither one of us had a whole lot to talk about. But I've been watching your page and stuff, and I know you can outshine us real quick in that category. If you, whatever you'd like to share or talk about, what you've had going on recently.
Okay. Are we waiting on anybody else?
I think he froze up on us.
Okay. Are we waiting on anybody else?
No, not as far as
everything was going smooth until now.
Not
That was very delayed. That was very delayed.
I've got a little bit of a delay on my end here for a minute. Just go ahead.
Okay. Well, again, okay. I think, could you repeat your question again? I think, could you repeat your question again?
We was just doing kind of an update on what been going on in each of us' area as far as activity or reports or anything we'd experienced.
Okay. A week ago, or is it 2 weeks? A week ago. A week ago, we had a group out of Oregon and team members from California come in, and really, excuse me.
We lost Barry.
Yeah, we lost Barry.
He always has internet trouble when he gets to doing the show. Beforehand, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, we all know how my internet can be. Anytime that happens, just keep going. I'll be back in a minute.
Oh, okay. Well, we had a group. We actually
last I heard, he had a group from California come in.
We had a pretty good sized group, and boy, brother, that is annoying as hell. That delay. So we were there for 3 days. And the thing that struck me, even after all these years of squatching, was this just the relationship that was built. I was reminded on how special that was. You know what I mean, Wendell?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not. I'm sure other people have relationships.
I mean, I'm not.
It,
I'm
it,
sure people
it really, it really struck me how
really,
again, how special that relationship
how
was based on the interaction.
special the
We
relationship
were
was
getting
based on the interaction.
those nights. And so, again, it was a. I know it's a blessing. Um, One of the things we had happen is we went to an area where uh, we had this group from Oregon, and you would have thought, based on the information, based on other accounts, that there was two elephants in there fighting to get away,
Huh.
and it just blew them away. There was crashing. There was um, this group from Oregon told me that um, that the area is a special place, and that they had no doubt that those were two squatches, running away from them. And
Right.
I think we could probably sit here and say, well, what's the big deal? I hear that too.
Still,
I think that the beauty of it though is just to hear the massive size, the grunts, the knowing that this group came all the way from Oregon, and they reported to me that, wow, Barry, you guys really do have squatches here. And that told me they had a little doubt about Nebraska, And
Yeah.
after that encounter, they were sold that, this is the real deal down here. So that's kind of what happened there, Barry.
That's awesome. So were they running away from the people that was walking in there, or them?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They wasn't. The Squatch wasn't fighting each other or something like that.
Yeah.
They were just getting away.
Yeah, they came down the hill. They came down the hill, and as they were getting to the bottom, there was a timber off to the side, and they must have spooked them, and they just were falling over each other, but just crashing. I mean, the way they told me again was, you would have thought there was two elephants in there just crashing and running away, and you could hear the footsteps just boom, boom, boom. So I was very pleased, having visitors from out of town, tell you that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's kind of what's been up lately, just the latest report.
Like I was telling Barry there, we ain't had much activity around here local over in the western part of Arkansas, where we got an investigation the 6th and 7th of November. They had activity there. We're going to go check it out. You never know what you'll get by the time you get there. It could be, that might be their home place where they stay, or they might have just been passing through. Unfortunately, all my team has jobs during the week, so we can't do this at a moment's notice. We got to plan our vacation to go there.
Yeah. So let me turn this around. What's been happening with you guys, Wendell, Barry?
Barry left again. Like I was saying, we ain't had much activity around here. that's the only thing that has been reported to me, and we're going to try to get over there. Well, we are going to get over unless something happens. The 6th and 7th of November.
Yeah.
And, they had activity around a farm there where it hadn't been getting the cattle or nothing, but it keeps them run up to the barn all the time. They won't even go out and leave. And only during the day will they get out and eat and everything. Farmers called us over there to see what we think it is. He knows it's the Sasquatch.
So are you guys on the same team?
Barry ain't, no. I don't know what.
Can you guys hear me at all right now? Can't hear me at all?
I can hear you, Barry. Can you hear me?
I was just going to ask about the activity. I've read a couple books about Native American reservations and stuff, mostly David Pilates' books, The Hoopa Project, and his other book, can't think of the name of it now. And they made it seem like the activity was almost day and night nonstop. Maybe not quite that, but just the way he presented it, it made it seem like it was almost Bigfoot was jumping off from behind every bush and tree in that corner of Cal.
This area that you're talking about there, Barry, is it something where you could go there all the time and have that activity, or do they move in and out of there where you had where they had this sighting or sounds?
You know, I can relate to what Barry was referencing or referring to. I'll say this, that if you allowed me, if my schedule allowed me, I would it would be safe to say that that book or that what Barry mentioned, you could probably say that is 100% correct, because they're moving all the time here on the reservation. I think there's something sacred about them and Native people. There's something that special that's always been going on. So they, as I've said, you can almost expect them to be roaming 24/7. If I had access, and there's houses in different locations on the homeland, and there's probably a story every other day.
Wow!
If I went and asked, right. Everybody's they just kind of roam rampant. So I'd have to agree with what David Pilates said about that community, Native community.
Huh. Interesting. Well, Barry's gone again.
Yeah.
He's going to ask a bunch of questions about the red-haired giants and anything. Do we think that ties in with the Bigfoot and everything, the skeletons that they've found all over America?
Yeah.
I don't know that. I know they found a lot of the remains in burial mounds and stuff. I don't know if it ties in that you would say those are Bigfoot or not. Possible. Around the same size, though.
Yeah.
You back, Barry? Nope. Your sound's turned off.
Unmute yourself.
I have to go back and listen closer later to the replay. My internet's it's starting to smooth out. I think as long as everybody else can hear and get people watching, I'll listen to it later. Like Wendell, I heard Wendell ask you about the burial mounds. Do you know anything about these? I know we're like here in Kentucky, northern Kentucky, and Ohio, they have what they call the serpent mounds. I think there's a string of them that's like 6 miles long, right along the Ohio River, and nobody's sure who built them or why. And I know they're found all across the country, and most people speculate that they're burial mounds, but a lot of times they have these 9 and 10 foot tall skeletons in them. When they, of course, now most of them are protected, but back generations past they would just barge right in. And they find these 9 and 10 foot tall skeletons with long red hair. Is there any Native American lore or tradition concerning those, or?
I can't say that I've come across the red hair story. The red hair giants. I haven't heard any reference toward that. At the same time, I, the mounds, I haven't really come across anything that I would consider a mound,
That's the same here in Arkansas. I hadn't either. I don't know. Over in eastern Arkansas, but I hadn't went over there. They had the Crowley's Ridge that was created by the big earthquake that happened. But while that happened, they did find remains that after that happened that was like that. Well, what he is saying was anywhere from 7 to 8 feet tall. So I don't know if the earthquake actually just pushed up a mound and then that's what they found, or if the mound was already there and it just shook the dirt off of it when they had that big earthquake. But that's the only reference I've heard in Arkansas.
Yeah. Yeah, not too much.
Midwest.
Information on the red hair.
Like I was telling Wendell there, they found an article in New Mexico where they opened one up and it had a skeleton. It was 8'11" in it. And like I told him, I don't know of any native tribes or peoples that the average height was anywhere near 8-9 foot tall with red hair.
No.
And it's one of the big mysteries, just who these red haired giants were.
Yeah. Well, I know there was the doctrine even within my spiritual background. They talk about the Nephite warriors. I mean, there were some big people. So I don't think it's a secret that the human, the DNA was produced a lot of big people, and they even talk about it in the Book of Mormon. One of the readings in my religion, and so I know there was a lot of big people back then. Was that the red-haired people? I have no idea, but I know humans were big people back then. So interesting.
Yep. Well, you got any other questions you want to ask me, Barry? I can't think of nothing right offhand.
Where you located, Wendell?
I'm located in central Arkansas, and most of the time we do all of our scouting and everything in the northern part of Arkansas. And reason, I guess, why is everybody more local to us and everybody can call me. What we found from up in this area is that the Bigfoot is what they would say more human looking like than South Arkansas. They're more hunched over and skinnier, and if you want to go that route they look more like the apes that they would the reports you hear. And that's why I think there's two different things out there that's getting put in the same category. Put in the same big. They may look the same to a certain extent, but they're not. I can't prove that, but that's just my own theory. Maybe one day somebody will prove one way or the other. Maybe somebody will prove one way or the other.
Oh,
That's very possible. I could be chasing the wrong rabbit. They may be completely unconnected. Well, like we was discussing, it's not just the mounds and stuff. You know, we was talking about how you got the pyramids in Africa, and then even here in North America, you got. We was just talking about how it's a global phenomenon. You know, you got temples down across Central and South America, and even here in North America, out in the Midwest and West, you've got some pretty sophisticated dwellings and stuff that were built that were generations before their time.
I think there's more here, and far as pyramids, here, far as pyramids, nobody's looking for them. Nobody wants to look for them. Nobody wants to look for them.
Mm-hmm. Now I know another question I wanted to ask you guys while I had it on my mind. Law enforcement, not so much the whole cover-up conspiracy thing, but local law enforcement. I was wondering if y'all had any reports or encounters where local law enforcement got involved.
Yeah. I have several cousins that's on. I have several local police forces, and they've had encounters up around. Clinton. And had people call them and want them to come out. And see what's going on around their storage buildings. Out around their storage buildings and stuff. But they won't tell nobody else. They go. That's why they go. Don't get my name involved in this. I want you to know about this.
That's what I was curious about. Mr. Webster, you've had any of that happen where the local law enforcement gets involved with the Sasquatch cases, or?
Yeah, you know, interesting. I'm glad you asked that question because.
Interesting. I'm glad you asked that question because
when a family gets terrorized,
when a family gets terrorized, so to speak,
They more or less hit me up on Facebook and asked me to come out.
Hit me up on Facebook and
asked me to come out. And I don't mind because it allows me to investigate. So I guess to answer your question, the law enforcement don't.
The families contact you, or
the law enforcement don't get involved.
Oh, so your law enforcement will actually contact you.
Yeah.
So if somebody contacts them, the law enforcement comes to you.
Yeah.
That's awesome to have them come to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in most areas, I think it's the opposite. The last thing the law enforcement around here is going to do is call me.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it is around here. Like Wendell was talking, it's like pulling teeth to get people to talk about it all, let alone law enforcement.
Yeah. We've been blessed.
I mean, I'd love for my phone to ring right now and it be the county sheriff. Hey, Barry, we got a.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't hear about it, but these that's on the law enforcement is kin to me and everything. So they come up and because they know I do Sasquatch investigations. They come up and let me know about it. Around this area, I'm kin to everybody. My great grandpa had 30 kids. My great grandpa. I wouldn't know what to do with if I had 32 kids. I mean, if I had 30 kids. Well, I'm here by myself now. I've lost both berries. Interesting.
I'm still here, brother.
Oh, are you?
Still here, brother.
All right.
I'm still here. I'm just sitting back listening to what I can. It'll smooth out for a second, and then it'll drop out, smooth out, drop out. Like I said, I just hope everybody else can hear better than I can.
Right.
But the last thing I was saying there, I'd love for the phone to ring and it be the county sheriff or even the state police. Hey, Barry, we got a farmer out here that's got something weird going on, and you're kind of the go-to guy in this area about stuff like this. Well, that would make my day. Maybe someday I'll get to that point, but not right now. Well, from everything I've read and studied and everything, just the Native American culture, whereas they may not talk to people outside their community, as far as inside the community, they're a lot more open about it. They'll call the local law enforcement and say, hey, we got a Sasquatch banging on the side of our house, whereas your more Anglo-Saxon, European white man, I don't want to be rude, but white man, Bigfoot could knock the window out and lean in, and they probably still wouldn't call the police because they're afraid of being made fun of or people thinking they're on the moonshine or whatever. Whereas Native American people actually within their community are better off because they trust each other more, I think, and are more accepting of probably not just Sasquatch, but things spiritual and stuff like that. Do what?
Hey, Window.
Hey, Window. Yeah.
In your area, do you find that there's more non-believers than believers?
Yeah. Yeah. More non-believers than believers.
Oh, easily. I mean, I've had a few people contact me through Facebook or whatever and tell me accounts of stuff they've had happen. But 9 out of 10 of them are like, don't ever mention this and don't ever bring my name up in connection with it.
Yep.
That's just the way it is. Like I said, it's like pulling teeth.
Interesting.
That's why I'm saying I believe in Native American cultures and communities. You all have got the advantage because whether you're just a more tight knit community and culture or whatever, you know, you're more I don't know if trusting is the right word, or more accepting maybe of stuff like that. Of course, Mom behind me here was joking here. If you called the police, it wouldn't do you no good. They wouldn't come. They'd be too scared. People have better luck calling me.
I hear you.
Well, from what I've
And be my luck, this will be after I said that. This will be the episode the local police is watching. But
yeah, from what I've understood and the Native American friends that I've had, they have a more connection with the environment and things that are out there going on. They don't try to control it. Modern people or more modern people or like you saying the Anglo-Saxons, they want to go out and be in control of everything. They want to go out and be American wants to live with nature. That's what I was trying to say. With nature. Sasquatch is that's what I was trying to say. Part of nature. So part of nature more acceptable. And it's passed down from generation to generation. We're told from kids, oh, that don't exist, that don't exist. So it's programmed into most people. Even when they see something, I've had lots of, well, I don't really know what it was, but I saw it. So, well, what is it? Come help me find out what this was. And I said, well, I'll tell you what it is, whether you want to believe me or not.
what I was going to say, it kind of tied Bigfoot and its accounts of newspaper clippings, magazine clippings from the 1800s up through about 1950 before the term Bigfoot.
A lot of them were,
and not just the Native Americans, but even the settlers were a whole lot more open about this topic than we are now. Because there's one case I read in particular, it was up in British Columbia, and they had this gentleman, I can't remember his name off the top of my head without looking at the book, but he was a well-known
Barry's gone again. Do you think there's different things that, as far as a person that,
like I was saying,
Bigfoot, like, are they connected through the bloodline or by sense or something that person would do to where they'd visit that house over and over instead of going to the next house or something? Because I've had one that moved from two different areas, and he had a Sasquatch activity where he lived bad enough that he moved. And then it was about 5 years later where he was living at, started having Sasquatch activity again. The house slapped him. So do you think surely they wouldn't follow that one and find him? That same group, surely they wouldn't.
Hey, Wendell.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess you're getting all kinds of feedback. I caught a little bit of what you were saying.
I was just saying, is there something that a person, the Sasquatch, can be attracted to, or anyway, what brought it up is one guy had Sasquatch activity at his house where he lived, and then he moved to another area, and about 5 years later started having Sasquatch activity there.
Yeah, I've had a couple of situations, probably more than a couple. Um, we had one that kept bothering this young lady's window, reaching in when she'd leave the window open just a little bit.
Right.
So which really led me to believe another time it followed her when she was in a car, and it came out from the actual ditch to walk up to the vehicle. So I think there's some kind of physical attraction too, that they can get physically attracted to women, and so I've heard of that before.
Yeah, that's just something I've been thinking about recently, and just wondering if anybody else. So you're having heard of the same activity like that? So there's something going on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, around here we seem to have more activity in the late winter, very early spring. So I don't know if that's because the food is shorter then. I mean, it's after all the nuts and berries and leaves is all gone. It's when we start having more activity here close and around, I say within 20 miles of where I live, activity, everybody goes reporting. So something's going on there too.
Yeah. I can't really say that there's a specific time when there's more activity. As Barry was saying, you can almost, get a story any time of the week, really.
Huh.
And that's funny that it's interesting that he would bring that story up by Pilates or whatever his name is.
Yeah, David Pilati.
Yeah, that is almost pretty much the same story here, to be honest with you.
Looked like he was typing something, and then he went away again.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like the Sasquatch in your area, Barry, is you're right on right where they live constantly, and ours seems to move around the state.
Yeah, we probably had this discussion more than several times. I just think that that our homelands, offer that peace that they're looking for. You know,
Yeah,
I
they're
think
attracted to it.
yeah, it's more than just I think we talk a lot about um, their relationship prior to even my era. I mean, here's these people who've been here longer than you and I ever could imagine, and so there is a history. There was a connection they had with my people
Right.
prior to me coming around. And not only that, I think it has to deal spiritually. You know, there's more of a connection than we know.
Right. Well, are you back, Mary? I don't think so.
He's doing his thing, huh?
Yeah, he's froze right now.
Are you guys playing any good football down there in Arkansas, Wendell?
Yeah, we've lost 2 games this year. It looks good for us, and we're all excited about it. Anyway, at least we hope to have a chance to get in a good playoff this year. Looks like the team's doing pretty good. How about up there?
Nebraska's kind of definitely an improved team, but we just can't seem to buy a win.
Right.
Close, but close don't count. Only in horseshoes, right?
Horseshoes and hand grenades.
So
That's what I've always been told. That's the only time close counts.
who to your knowledge, Wendell, how many Bigfoot groups in Arkansas?
To my knowledge of actual people that's joined and got letterhead and teams, I know of roughly right at 30.
30 groups.
Yeah.
Wow.
And our team, that's why we call it the Arkansas Bigfoot Cartel. We tried to talk amongst them. A lot of them is like, well, they don't want somebody to know about their area because they're afraid they'll get in there first and mess it up, or they want to only access. But that's how the cartel come about. Is it's a group of different groups, and I get to hear from pretty much a lot of them, almost all of them. And I can tell this one, well, this group, they use this method and it works for them. I don't disclose their location for them. Any kind of method that one's working, their cameras, like one puts their camera inside a log and covers it with cover sense, like you use deer hunting, so that nothing will smell it and everything, and they get better results with that. I tried to work with them instead of all of them just trying to go it on their own, and so that's how it works around here. How about up there? Is it all just on y'all's res there, or are there other groups around the state that try? Or do you just bring other groups there?
Well, I know there used to be a Nebraska BFRO, if that's a group.
Yeah.
Then us, and that's the only 2 I know. I haven't heard anything from the Nebraska rep BFRO. So really, I think it's just res squatching research in the state of Nebraska. I mean, and
Wow.
yeah, we're bringing people in, to the res to experience what we're experiencing. But for the most part, I think it's just us in the state, really.
Well, I know if you can hear me, I just like to say I appreciate you having you on because you can keep the show alive while I'm fighting and losing with the internet.
I try. I run out of questions pretty quick though, or answers, but
I have no idea what the problem is. It's not like I have a poor signal. It's like I have no signal, even though I do.
uh, that's one thing. I have to buy 2 internet lines. I guess
I think in the future, as bad as I hate to say it, I'm gonna have to do. I think in the future, as bad as I hate to say it, I'm gonna have to do like one-on-one, just one guest, because it seems like every time I try to have 2 or more, this happens. And I hate to do that because I'd rather have 2 or 3 people on at a time. But,
yeah, it's a lot more interesting.
which, like I said, makes absolutely no sense.
More interesting conversation.
Yeah. You would think if there, well, I mean, for the first 20 minutes or so, when it was just me and Wendell, everything was fine. As soon as we added a third person, everything fell apart. And it don't matter who the third person is. It's not because it's Mr. Webster. It's apparently 2 people's just all my internet connection can handle or something.
Huh. Yeah, it did that with the guy that passed away. What was his name? The big guy that had the beard. Anyway, when he was on, y'all talk good, and then when I come on, it went to messing up. And then oh. Barry, is y'all activity in the center of the state, or is it just all over? Because most of our activities to the west and north, we have activity random at other parts of the state, but most of it, the most activities to the west of Arkansas and northwest.
Yeah, I think the activity is all over, really, the whole state. I mean, there's more reports than being reported. I think BFRO does a report, a database or something.
Right. Yeah. We got one here too.
Yeah, there's more activity that is not being reported than there is. So, which tells me, obviously, they're all over the state.
All over the state, yeah. A lot of our activity, like I said, that we hear about is in late fall and then early spring, but that's right after all the deer seasons and all the hunters have moved around and doing the shooting. And like I said, the food sources are going down, what we consider food sources anyway. So I think that involves with the moving around to an area.
Yeah.
Well, what, you got any future plans? Anything going on in the near future where Anybody y'all gonna bring in or anything like that?
Yeah, we got what is it, November 19th and 20th. We have a group coming in from Florida. So we're looking at maybe shooting another documentary. So
Awesome.
that's in the negotiation stages right now. So you know, just looking forward to it. Um, we do take aside from you know the business side of it. We are and we do go out every Friday and maybe Saturday just to continue the research.
Awesome. That's what I'd like to be able to do, but I just got way too much stuff tied up in a working job and everything. But I'd love to be able to do that every other weekend. Even us, it's about every other month that we actually get to do any real good investigation and look for signs. And that's too long a distance in between us. You just look up on one or your area that they're staying at.
Yeah, we're blessed that way. It's been just one heck of a journey. Wendell, I'm gonna be able to hang in here till about 9 o'clock with you, my time. So I got about 10 more minutes left, brother.
Oh yeah, that's me. Yeah, and we must be the same. Yeah, it's 8:51. We must be in the same time zone.
Can anybody see you and or hear me at all?
Yeah, I can hear you, Barry.
All right. I didn't know my connection's got so bad I don't even know exactly where we are in the conversation anymore. Anytime y'all are ready to cut the live feed, just let me know.
That's what we're saying. If you got any wrap up questions, we got about 10 minutes here or 9 minutes now before the 9 o'clock and our time, and we're just gonna wrap it up. But unless you got some questions you want to ask.
You guys should be able to see it where you can answer me in the private chat too, since I can't hardly make out any audio right now.
I guess I can type down
It
here.
looks like I lost both my guests. Hello, can anybody hear me? Anybody see me?
I can see him.
We're an hour and 10 minutes, so I think I'm going to knock off the live feed here. Hopefully anybody watching could hear and see better than I could. Got to enjoy the interview and the chat. Hopefully we'll get this straightened out in the future. I want to thank both my guests for coming on. God bless them. Appreciate it. Appreciate anybody watching now or later on the replay. God bless everybody.
Well, I guess we're over for the night, Barry.
All right. Hey, Wendell, thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you. Glad to talk to you anytime I can. I don't, like I said, I don't know much. I'm just learning as I go, but I'm glad to talk to you.
You bet. Same here, man. God bless, brother. Take care.
Yeah, God bless.
Yeah.